this episode, I finally got to install the posts in their right place. Before doing that, I needed to cut the grooves or the furrows for the wall planks. So in each of the posts, there is on the standing post, there's a vertical groove, and eventually wall planks will slide in between two posts in these grooves and will be held in place. This is a building technique that dates back to the end of the Viking era, and we have examples on this way of building houses in the archaeology. So to ensure that the knee brace don't move once it is installed, I have used a half lap or a dovetail tenon on them. And the idea of using dovetails and half laps is evident in the Viking Age woodwork archaeology in different scenarios. If the Vikings used dovetails or half lap joints on their knee braces, and the question itself, if knee braces were a thing or a necessary thing in Viking Age construction, I am not sure. But I decided for this project I wanted to install them. Also, I am not a professional carpenter, and the joints I have made are not as tight fitting as I would have wanted them to be. So there is a bit of wobble that I wanted to eliminate with the knee braces. Also, many Viking Age houses, what we know about Viking Age houses is that most of the posts were put directly in the ground, and there was no sill beam, I think it's called, the beam on the ground that holds the building together. This came later on in the late Viking Age and became popular in the medieval times to have this sill beam. But I do have this because I needed to raise up the building a bit, and that of course allows for some wiggle room for the posts. A knee brace is essentially a piece of wood that creates a triangle, and any triangle in a structure of square angles makes any structure more rigid or stable. To make the grooves, I used an axe that I have not used a lot, that has a straight cutting edge. Most of my axes have a curved profile to the length of the cutting edge. But here I needed to make some grooves, and instead of using a relatively narrow or slim chisel, I used the length of the cutting edge of the axe as a chisel to cut out this groove. And I used my chisel as a guide to define the width of the groove. The boards I have prepared are more or less this thickness. They might need to be trimmed down a bit in the ends, but then they will fit nice and snug into these grooves. For finishing this step, there was also a lot of drilling involved. To drill holes through 12-13 centimeters of wood with Viking Age drills is a tough job. I do have a small 12 millimeter drill that works well for small, of course, 12 millimeters holes. And for most of the knee braces, this was enough to put a peg made from beechwood through. But it does take a lot of effort, a long time to drill through. And to install the middle post, I used a 20 millimeter drill, a bigger drill bit, to work my way through. And of course, with this T-shaped handle, you have way more force to put, and it's way easier to drill actually a bigger hole when we're talking this depth here. There was of course one of the knee braces where the tenon, the half lap joint or the dovetail tenon, or what we call it, split once I put the peg in, and that's of course a shame. But due to the angles, it is not going to be able to move in its place. So it's merely a visual thing that will annoy me constantly. But it's in place and it's working, and it's one of the nicer pieces of curved wood that I have for cutting the knee braces. So I will let that be as it is. I am not quite finished with the second wall. I want to put in the possibility of having a small window. So I'm just finishing up some parts that will fit between the posts for that. But otherwise, the 6 posts for the shorter walls are almost there. Of course, this will also have to be treated with tar, like you saw in the last video. And then for the next video, which I am hoping to be able to do before winter really kicks in, is to prepare all the planks that will slide in between the posts in the grooves that we cut today. This should be relatively easy, and I want to wind seal them by adding sheep wool and tar between the boards, just like you would on a Viking boat. This might be a bit overkill for this project, but I think it would be cool. And I do have some sheep's wool lying around, and I do have tar at hand, so I am really looking forward to that step. And right now it is still just posts standing up from the ground. But very soon I will be able to slide these things in, and relatively fast there will be 2 walls, very visual. So stay tuned for that. Whoa, it's a crisp day. It's been I think almost a week of grey and moody weather. Also, like you saw in the video here from yesterday, it was grey and moody and on the brink of rain constantly. But finally the sky is blue, and there is some sun peeking through the trees over here. It's going to be a fantastic day. Recently I got my hand on 3 trunks, quite large trunks of wood from poplar, I think. And I'm not sure if poplar is historical correct, but I need to use what I have at hand and what is available to me, or people I know who can help me. So I have 3 large trunks of poplar, and I am going to make those into the top beams. Now the 3 posts are standing up on a short wall. There will be planks between them for a wall, and then on top, to hold everything together, there needs to be a beam, or a piece of timber there. So I'll have to hew these beams out of the trunks, and I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be tough and heavy work, but it will be great to actually make my own timber. All the other timber I have used here is recycled timber from an old barn not far away from here that I got my hand on, so it was already cut. I only had to do some corrections, like you saw in an earlier video with the hewing axe. The knee braces were cut from real tree, and I had to carve them out or hew them out of the branches. But to make these big beams, big pieces of wood for the house, all by myself with hand tools, marking out, using a chalk line or a charcoal line as a guide, and that is going to be a really interesting project, probably for the beginning of the next year, for early spring. A while back I was contacted by one of my viewers here on YouTube, a guy with a lot of blacksmithing experience, and we were having a talk about the different drills and what is needed to actually build a house. And he was kind to me and offered me to actually forge me a drill that I needed. I needed this 20mm drill for all the pegs, and I did not have one at hand. I have a small one. I have the large one that you saw me using when we made the working benches, like a big 5 or 6 centimeter wide auger bit. But he told me that he would forge a drill bit 20mm for me and send it over to me, and that was very, very generous from him. And we had some correspondence on email back and forth during the process, and we ended up also talking about saws. And that was before I made my own saw that you saw me using in the last video when we cut the tenons. So he also decided that he would forge and file out a small saw for me and send that to you. And I was so looking forward to receive this package, and it was amazing to open it. I thought there was going to be a 20mm auger drill bit and a small saw, but there was a whole selection of small tools, smaller drills, neatly made with neat little wooden handles. There was another chisel, and one of these, I don't know what the term is, but a small chisel you put into an anvil when you, for example, need to cut off material when you're blacksmithing. For example, when you're making a nail. In one of my videos long ago, I was forging a nail, and I used an axe to cut off warm, heated up iron, and that's pretty hard on the axe, even though the hardening is good. But this is a small chisel just for that. So a whole, I would say, a treasure chest was just wrapped in bubble wrap tape and cardboard for me there. So that was very, very, I would say, almost overwhelming to receive this, and to think that that somebody who views these, just think that somebody was so kind to reach out to me and offer this to me, and make all these things for me. Some of the tools here specifically for this project. That was, yeah, I feel almost guilty, like I don't know what to do with myself. But of course, I am just very, very, very thankful, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was a very rare gift to receive, and I was lucky to be the receiver. And finally, in this video, I got to use the saw. It's a smaller saw than the one I make, and it's great for sawing not too deep cuts. The teeth are finer than the saw I made. So for sawing the green wood, the apple branches I'm using here for the knee braces, they're green wood, and the fibers really build up in the between the teeth. So I had to use the bigger saw anyway. And the 20 millimeter drill you saw me using to install the larger peg in the middle post was made by this amazing blacksmith and fantastic person. So again, thank you. Anyway, that was it, I think, for this video. So installing the post, cutting furrows or grooves for the wall planks, carving out or hewing out the knee braces, installing them, and of course using these fantastic new tools that I got. And the next step is going to be finishing up the second wall, where I'm still working on some pieces because there will be an opening for a window. And then soon, I would say in a few weeks' time, finally slide in these wall planks. And I do think in the end of the next video I need to talk to you a bit more about the archaeological evidence for this type of building, or for at least some of the construction methods I'm using on this building. I am not making all of this up. I am basing most of the ideas and the principles and the construction methods out of archaeology. And there is a really great book that I will show you next time that I've been referring to. Quite the Bible on Nordic building techniques in the Viking Age. So I will get further into that for the I suppose few of you who are really nerdy into this kind of things about archaeology and the evidence of these things. I will get back to that. So again, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and thanks for being part of this building project. I am thrilled to know that some of you think that this is interesting and you want to be with me here and see what's going on. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Help me out in that way. Feel free to ask any questions about the tools or the techniques or the house, or the things or the things I've said here in the comments section below, and I will get back to you and answer as fast as I can and as good as I can, because I really do enjoy this community feeling and sharing and discussing these things with you guys. So thanks for watching, and stay safe, and hopefully see you soon. Bye bye.